Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 2020 full moon reading for you. Now, this is a really powerful full moon. Not only is it a super moon, and we will be having 2 more super moons right after this, and we're coming out of a super moon, this is also the end of Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is coming into direct. You're going to see that a lot of the trauma and the drama that you have been through with Mercury retrograde has given you really valuable insight, really valuable ideas to move forward. And this full moon is going to be a time when things are really amplified. I have everything all worked out here for you guys from the Moonology cards and the Queen of the Moon. We have our tarot cards right here. So I'm going to be moving the Moonology cards and the Queen of the Moon over to the side. I'm going to be shuffling your tarot just so we can, start getting in and talking about this moon, because it is really exciting. It is the worm moon, which I know it sounds like a little gross, but I actually love worms because they enrich the soil so much. So if you're in the northern hemisphere, this is a time when the earth is awakening. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's kind of like a blanket being put over the earth in a time of slumber. So here, there is just a sense of beauty and renewal coming forward, no matter where you are in the world. So let's see now. Aries, how will Aries be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the March 2020 full moon? How will Aries be affected by the March 2020 full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. Fantastic. At the center of everything, we have the Queen of Wands. So this is you shining through in the Minor Arcana. You are represented by the Wands in the Minor Arcana. You are represented by the Emperor in the Major Arcana. So this is beautiful. You're going to be much more comfortable behind the scenes. And then we have the Ten of Cups, which for me is one of the greatest blessings that we can get from the tarot. So that's beautiful. The Four of Cups, the Empress, the Two of Swords, the World, the Five of Wands. You have the Knight of Pentacles, an earth sign energy, a Taurus, a Virgo, a Capricorn. This full moon is also in Virgo, so you're going to feel the effects of this moon very intensely during this time. Then we have the Fool, which is brilliant. You have new journeys being started. And the Six of Cups, something from your past that you are letting go of, and you're seeing new avenues start to open up, and also a connecting with your childhood or what you used to really love, what used to be really important to you that you might have said, oh, this is foolish, I have to move on. No, you're going to see in this moon that you are really starting to embrace yourself, your soul, and what you desire, and also happiness. There's a sense of peace around things, which I think is really quite beautiful. So we're going to start talking about this moon. So we have the full moon right here. And the full moon here is about power with the Queen of the Moon. And then with Moonology, it says surrender to the divine. So as you're moving forward, you're surrendering to your power, because remember in Hinduism, they say that the God's head, Brahma said that the God's head is hidden within man, because that is the one place that we do not look for it. So during this moon, you are going to be turning inward. There's going to be this real need to turn inward. Why? Because we have this full moon in Virgo, which says you are good enough. And I love that, even though when I first read this in the Moonology deck, I was like, wow, that's a little bit rude. Like, you're good enough. It's kind of like, okay, you're not great, you're not special, you're good enough. But here's the thing. I know everybody wants to be great. Everybody wants to be the best person, ever. But that's hard. And that's a lot of pressure to put on ourselves. Being good enough. Being successful enough. It's kind of like, I have what's important to me. Why do I need to have what's important then also to everybody else? That's exhausting. So here with this Virgo full moon, you're going to see that, yes, you are good enough. And it's not a diss. It's actually something very freeing. This is what I want from my life. This is how I want to move forward. And I have the power, the beauty, the serenity of soul and self to be able to accomplish it, to be able to achieve what seems to be unachievable, or what seemed to be unachievable at times, because there's a sense of peace. And then this moves us to the supermoon, which is what this moon is going to be. And it is going to be the supermoon for the next 2 months. We're going to have a supermoon, in April and in May, which is really, really beautiful. That we're having 4 supermoons. We're coming out of a supermoon, we're going back into a supermoon. And this means that emotions are running high. Now, with a supermoon, it also amplifies the moon that we are in, right? So a Virgo energy, a Virgo is very practical, right? A Virgo is going to be, it's kind of like having a really refined palate during this time, kind of having really good taste, right? What is important to you, you're really going to move towards that. It doesn't mean that everybody has to agree. You might love anchovies and nobody else does, but you're going to move forward in that way and be like, no, I really like this. This is what I want, for dinner every day. That type of stuff. You're going to really focus on what's right for you. And here you're going to be more discerning, all right, with what you desire, with the way that you want to move forward. And there's also going to be a sense here of really figuring out problems, figuring out things in a way that moves you forward, that sets you free. You're going to be fixing, kind of fixing things, tinkering, gaining an understanding, really looking at situations, and what once had stumped you, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I see the answer. It doesn't have to be all at once. It can be very subtle, but it is going to be very beautiful for you. And yes, emotions do run high during this time. And this is a time where we really have to look at our emotional relationships. But it is also a time where you are going to see that there's a helpfulness to life, because Virgos are very helpful. But also know that sometimes one person's help is to another person a hindrance. So know here that during this time, there's the amplifying of emotions. Emotions run high. There's a strong sense of purpose, of desire, of getting things done, of being focused. And this moves you to embracing the supermoon in the Queen of the Moon deck, which is attraction. You are going to start attracting to yourself what it is that you desire, which leads you to the fact that this full moon is the worm moon. It's have faith. And here she's pregnant, and she is really representative of the earth and the moon shining upon the earth with her pregnant belly, which you have here the Empress, who also has her hand on her belly here. So there is a sense of being pregnant with endless possibilities. There is a sense of power and truth and divine guidance being a part of you. And you're going to see that you're giving birth to what you desire in life. It doesn't have to be, really focusing on the home or on children if that's not what you want. It is saying, what is it that I want to create? And it is giving birth to that creation. And it is moving forward in that power, because during this time, you have the ability to attract and manifest what you truly desire in your life, and also the healing parts to the problems. So here we then move on to how the new moon will be affecting you. And the new moon is going to be on March 24th. There we go. And we also have the spring equinox on March 19th. So there is a lot of power during this time, a lot of rebirth. Now, if you're in the southern hemisphere, of course, this is, again, going into slumber and embracing, the winter months. But here it is embracing spring if you're in the northern hemisphere. And so either way, if you see, you have this portal to new beginnings. And you can be walking one way into the winter, or you can be walking the other way into the spring. Whichever one it is for you, you have the new moon in Aries, which says it's time to take action. It's time to take action towards what you want. It's time to take action towards what you desire. And as you do so, you're going to see that this new moon brings a new start. It says a new start is coming. So it brings you a new start, a new idea, a new sense of identity. And then you move, to the full moon. The next full moon is going to be in Libra. And it says a win-win outcome is forecast. So that's what you're building up towards, is this new moon in Libra that will be coming in April 7th. And you are going to see that the power of this moon lasts from full moon to full moon. So from March 9th to April 7th, you are going to see the power really being around you, of moving you forward in a way that you hadn't anticipated, but it's going to feel right, because we're coming out of this retrograde. We're coming into a power of our souls, of ourselves, and knowing ourselves better, knowing ourselves more, and being more focused on our dreams, not just what we dream, but what makes our soul happy, what makes ourselves feel powerful, secure, in alignment with our purpose. That's what we're going to be coming into alignment with. And during this time and during this moon, there is a sense of connecting with the goddess Hestia in Greek mythology. Now, the goddess Hestia is the goddess of the hearth. And if you've watched these videos before, you know that I absolutely adore her. She is my favorite Greek goddess. And it's because when her brothers and her sisters were taking over, Olympus, they kicked out the Titans, the war was won. They needed equal amount of gods, equal amount of goddesses, right? But there was one more. There was one more goddess than there was God. So instead of getting another god, they were like, okay, somebody has to go. There has to be an equal number. And nobody was willing to sit there and say, okay, I will make this sacrifice. But Hestia said, my job is the hearth. It is the fire that keeps us warm, that we center around. So it's the sun in the sky. It is the moon that reflects that sun, okay, that reflects that light. It is the core of the earth. And those are the fires that she keeps going. And it's represented in our home when we have the fireplace going, when we have the warmth surrounding us. Even today, people tend to gather, especially if you live in a colder climate, you gather around the fire. And that's what this time is showing us. It's showing us that warmth. It's showing us also that sacrifice for our happiness, for our truth, even if other people do not understand it. It's not saying that I have to be the red carpet person, the person to have, the carpet rolled out and just to be adored. It's saying I have to be happy within my life, within my existence. Because once that door of happiness opens, there is a power and there is a beauty to me that cannot be bought and that people may never be able to understand. And what's really interesting is that during this time, your spirit animals and your totem animals for March are the wolf and the whale. And the wolf spirit says, turn knowledge into wisdom. And the whale spirit says, trust the great mysteries. So as you have been living your life, the hardships, the pains, the disappointment, wisdom doesn't come through things being easy. Wisdom comes through having learned so much, having gathered things up, right? It's just like studying. You don't become good at school if you don't study. So here it's taking that wisdom, it's knowing that truth, and it's having learned through life. And then it's also trusting in the greater mysteries with the whale spirit, because everything isn't going to be laid out. And sometimes we just aren't supposed to know. So as you trust in the great mysteries, you see doors open and you see yourself falling into alignment, because that's going to be the real power for you, Aries, of this moon. And it leads you to then it leads you to April, there we go. And again, the totem animal in April is the wolf, and now the falcon and the hawk. So here we have the hawk, and it says, let spirit be your guide. So let spirit, let divinity, let the universe, let your angels, let that power be your guide. And know that your wisdom is moving you forward, that your knowledge has been turned into wisdom, and that you have achieved something great, even if you yourself aren't seeing it. So now let's get into what the tarot is saying, because I do know this takes a bit of a minute, so thank you all for being so patient and just knowing everything that is to come during this time period. Because here we have the Queen of Wands, and the Queen of Wands is you. The Queen of Wands is passion and creativity. There is very much this sense of owning your power and owning your throne. Also, the Queen of Wands always makes me think of Hecate in Greek mythology, the goddess of magic. And the goddess of magic, there's not much known about her. There's huge mystery. Her following was very secret and very sacred. So a lot of her texts were hidden away and lost over time. But there is this sense when I see the Queen of Wands, it's like that power, that knowledge, that truth is really what you're embracing. And with the kings and the queens, I don't see them as male or as female. All right, but I see the queens as being the directors behind the scenes. Because remember, in ancient times, in medieval times especially, queens could rule a whole entire country. They really could. They could be the leading force. But a lot of times, they had to have a king as the figurehead, the one that was seen, because it was just proper. It was just the way things were done. So yes, you do have Queen Elizabeth and other queens that do take power, but it was a rarity. And it took time. You had Queen Maud before that, in England, and a whole big war was fought over it, because people just weren't ready for the idea. They're like, okay, you can rule, but not just take the crown yourself. You had to be married first. So here, with the Queen of Wands, there is a new dawn and a new day that is coming. There's a power and a truth to you. You are going to feel much more comfortable, again, behind the scenes during this moon. You are also going to find that the moon for you is a source of inspiration. It is a source of power, of understanding. There are going to be ideas that come to you at night. If you have a little notebook, if you like to jot things down that way, or, take your phone, notes on your phone for you, because you are going to have inspiration that comes, and it's going to help you see things in a different light and through a more powerful truth, which leads you to the Fool. Right? Now, the Fool isn't going okay, so at times you are going to think you're foolish. Why? Because you have this Virgo moon here, which is going to be like, okay, you have to make plans. Things have to be fixed. You have to make plans. There's an order. There's a time and a place for everything, which is great. That's a great way to do things. But there's also going to be this bit of impetuousness to you during this time. It's going to come from the supermoon. It's going to be like your emotions are running high. You don't want to have to make a plan for everything. Sometimes you're just going to want to wing it. And that's going to be really freeing and really beautiful for you. So with the Fool, you might sit there and a part of your head is going to be like, wow, I really do feel like I need this to be more planned than it is right now. But the other part of your head is going to sit there and say, if I plan it out, if I have it all set out, it's going to lose its power. It's going to lose its potency. I'm not going to be as divinely guided as if I just kind of take a leap. Now, this isn't saying quit your job, run off, join the circus. This is saying here to really listen to your intuition, your heart, your soul, yourself as you are moving forward, because it's going to see you being more empowered, more invigorated, and you're going to find that you're starting a journey that is freeing and that is beautiful for you. And this leads you to the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is absolutely exquisite, because the 10 of Cups is, and they all live happily ever after. Now, will it be a happily ever after? No, it might not be like every moment of every day, but there's going to be bits of beauty that Spirit is really saying here. Take time, reflect, enjoy it. It can be a sunset that really speaks to you. It can be, the sunrise. There is going to be a huge sense of really being driven towards, the dynamic energy of the fire sign. Okay, right here, which is at your center, which is you. Okay, you are dynamic, you are intuitive, you are a visionary. Okay, you're like that great explorer that goes out, and that's why the Fool is going to be so important. If the explorer sat there and said, okay, I have to have everything mapped out to each step. Yes, if you're going to climb Mount Everest, you might very well want that. But there's going to be something here where you are embracing a journey, a adventure, and you don't want to take the mystery from it, and you are following your heart, your soul, yourself. There's beauty, there's serenity, there's a sense of love around you. Now, this could be people who are family or people who have become like family to you, but this could also be your angels and your spirit guides saying, I got you. Because when I was really little, we used to go, my mom used to take us to this convent, and we used to help clean up. Right? And one of the nuns, she used to tell me stories about guardian angels all the time. And it was so sweet. And that's what I'm just seeing here. She gave me a picture and she was like, keep this in your pocket because this angel will always watch over you. And so here, it's very much like that. It's kind of like, keep this in your pocket. It will always be a part of you. There's always going to be this beauty. There's always going to be this truth. And even when you feel as if you're walking alone, you're not. You're being guided, and there is a beauty helping you, guiding you, and leading you to the place that you want to be. It's going to feel slow because you have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving of the knights, all right? But it's also the wealth, So when you sit there and you're like, oh my gosh, the slowest moving, thanks so much, Dane. I'm not going to really be able to move forward as quickly or as, brilliantly as I want to. Well, the Virgo energy of the full moon does mean that there's that earthly grounded quality to it. And with the Knight of Pentacles, you have that earthly grounded quality, right? You have this directional pull towards the north. So this is going to be your North Star moving forward the way that you want to, right? And this is earthy and sensuous and practical and really needing to understand things. All right. So you can get caught up in the details of things. You can get caught up in the and the plans of it all. So just be mindful of this during this time. But know that slow and steady really does win the race, especially as you are listening to your heart, your soul, and yourself. And this moves you to the Two of Swords. And with the Two of Swords, it's having really two ways that are shown to you. And you think, okay, I can go this way or I can go that way. You know, I have these two options. And this is at your roots right here. These are your branches of the tree. This is the heart of the tree right here. And so at your roots, you're thinking, okay, there's two ways to move forward in life. And it might be, you know, this is just the way it's always been done. This is exactly what you have to do. But you're going to start to see, as you embrace your heart, as you embrace this passion, as you really look, and as you let this creativity shine within you, that a third option starts to reveal itself. Now, this does not mean it will happen all at once. This can take a great deal of time, and it can take longer than this moon. But what you're going to see is that you're starting to shift your consciousness. You're starting to see things differently. And instead of feeling as if you're left out in the cold, blindfolded, and having to defend yourself with your senses dulled, what you're going to find is that your senses are heightened, that the cold becomes a focus, all right? And that your passion becomes part of your power. And this leads you to the Six of Cups. This leads you to something in your childhood, something that happened where you're sitting there and you're like, wow, that had such an impact on me. That had so much power over me. How do I move forward from there? You know, how do I change that narrative? How do I embrace the passion and purpose of myself? And as you're looking at things, now this could be something beautiful in your childhood where you're saying, okay, I want to repeat that. But for a lot of people, there can be things that happen when we were little, and they don't have to be big things. It doesn't have to be anything that you would share with a friend, and they go, oh my gosh, that's horrible. I can't believe that happened to you. You know, it can be something very small, but it can be something that scared you. It can be something that, you know, had you see things differently. Okay, it's going to be something that really impacted you, even if you think it's silly. So here with the Six of Cups, it is saying, all right, I am moving forward. And I understand that there is something, you might not even know what it is, but I would very much say that the first thing that popped into your mind when I said something from your childhood, when Spirit was saying, you know, something from your childhood is holding you back. That very first thing, no matter how silly it might sound, and sometimes, you know, I've done this and it's like, wow, that's ridiculous, but it's true. And then once you start to focus on it, once you start to say, why does this have that power over me? Or, you know what, I'm not that child anymore. And if I am still that child, if that child still lives inside of me, I'm not ashamed of that child. I love who I once was. And so if you can see yourself being on bended knee, opening your arms, and giving who you once were a hug when nobody else did, I mean, that's powerful. And so you start to move forward. You start to fix, because that's what this Virgo energy is about. It's about fixing, and it's about having the balance of love coming in as you go towards the Libra full moon. And as you're fixing, as you're seeing, as you're understanding, the world is opening up to you. Right? You have right here, you know, you have the fairy tales right there, the endless telling of the world's stories. Okay? And what I love about mythologies, fairy tales, folklores, is that, yes, they're different, most definitely, but they hold a truth to them. And when you go from culture to culture, people to people, they carry a thread motif to them. They carry a core truth. And that's what you're going to see here, that the world starts to open up because you realize that the hearts of people are the same. The words that they use, the way that they express themselves, the symbolisms may very well change, but emotional truth is the link that we all have that is pulling us together. And this leads you to the Empress. And the Empress is pregnant with possibilities, is moving forward, is claiming a throne that was once denied to her. And I always love the Empress card because it really makes me think of the Empress Theodora in ancient Roman times. And the Empress Theodora, she climbed her way up. She wasn't born to be an empress. She was actually started off as a prostitute. And that was the only career that women could have back then. And she worked her way up in different, you know, stages, because they would perform on stages also. And she wound up catching the eye of Justinius, and Justinius married her, right? She became empress. It wasn't very much of a scandal at all, from what I can remember from the text. And so she became this powerhouse in Rome. She knew her stuff. She knew her power. She knew her truth, right? And Justinius, he was a little bit wavery. And Rome caught fire one day. And Justinius was like, listen, we have to leave. We have to go. I can't do this. We'll come back once, the fire has gone out. And she said to him, you leave, but I'm staying. And I always envision her saying, if you're going to leave, don't come back because I got this. Because that's pretty much what she told everybody. If you're going to be so afraid and you're going to run away, you forgot your duty. You forgot what you were actually here for. And it wasn't to run away when things got hard. And so he stayed. He claimed his power because he leaned on her. And the world opened up to her even more. And the world is going to open up to you even more as you claim your power, as you know your truth, as you stand up for what is right for you and what you know to be right. And as you bring forth the creative force that is around you, and you're going to see you start moving forward, and you're going to see that things that once held you back, that things that once, it can be consciously or subconsciously, kept you in a certain way of being, in a certain way of thinking, you're going to see the chaos starts to die away. The Five of Wands is, you can see the internal chaos kind of being a bit silly. It's kind of like, wow, that's what held me back. Now that I'm moving forward in my truth and in my power, that doesn't have the same effect over me anymore. But as you see this with the Five of Wands, as you see the chaos starting to die away, as you see the focus leading you forward, you have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is saying a blessing is coming to you that you hadn't anticipated, you hadn't expected. And so you're looking over here, and you're like, okay, I got this, I see this. But divinity, the universe, is handing you this gift of inspiration, this gift of ideas, this gift of knowledge. And it's going to help you change your mind about something. It's going to change your mind about the way you see something, about the way you've been looking at things. And here, what I love is that the cup isn't even waiting for her to say, oh, wow, you have liquid in it. Oh, wow, I see you. This gift from the divinity is coming. No, she's looking over here, and this cup is spilling over her with ideas, with inspiration. It's kind of like a thought bubble is now forming around her head. It's becoming part of her, whether she likes it or not. And so for you, Aries, you're going to see this becomes a part of you. You're going to see blessings are coming your way. Kind of like ready or not, here it comes. And as it comes, you move slowly and steadily forward towards prosperity. And you set off on a new journey. Because what once held you back is no longer going to be that fear-based monster anymore. And there's a sense of you moving forward in freedom, moving forward in glory, knowing what it is that you desire, and the knowledge becoming your wisdom, and that wisdom becoming your faith within yourself, and that power to say, Spirit does have my back, and the greater mysteries do not have to be understood. I do not have to know every step of the journey, because in your heart, Aries, you're an explorer, you're an adventurer. You are a person who pushes boundaries. I mean, come on, you guys are represented by the god of war in Greek mythology. So the one who just goes for it. And ancient Greek war, that was intense stuff. So here you are really embracing that truth. You're embracing that power. Aries became Mars. And so here you are that power. You are that force. And we're going to layer now the Moonology cards. Not the Moonology, the Queen of the Moon cards, along with the Moonology, to just give Luna a voice for herself for a moment. So let's see here. How will Aries be affected by the March full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. How will Aries be affected by the March full moon? Show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly, show me clearly. I like this. You have a strong Scorpio presence, so which means that you're going to be a little bit harder to understand because Scorpios keep things to themselves, right? And they can go for this thing, they can go for the kill rather easily. And remember, the smaller the Scorpio, the more deadly it is. So it's not going to be this big thing that you can see. When you get mad, it's going to be something where you kind of like zing it to the point, and people aren't really going to be as prepared for that. So just know that you have tremendous power when it comes to getting your point across during this time. And at your heart, I absolutely adore this because there is focus. There is focus at your heart as you are looking at what you desire, as you are calling on the power within you, as you are taking everything in. You are hyper focused. And remember the butterfly, which is a symbol of rebirth, most definitely, and absolutely beautiful because of their colors and because of their kind of whimsical association. But butterflies are also attracted to carrion. So they're also attracted to dead bodies, carcasses. And so there's going to be this beauty and this darkness to life that you are really going to be drawn to during this time. And we see that amplified here by the Scorpio. The in-between of things is going to be something that's very important to you, Aries. So yes, you usually like things to be a little bit black and white, like white page, black print, things being set and reasonable, especially with the Virgo energy. But there's going to be this sense here with the Fool card, with the adventure, with the sense of moving forward. There is the sense of working through your fears. With the Scorpio energy, with the new moon. So the Scorpio new moon is saying work through your fears as you move forward, as you embrace the endless possibilities. And as you embrace these endless possibilities, you're going to see things and understand things that seemed almost unobtainable to you before. So the in-betweens is going to be very, very, very important to you. And then you're assessing the situation, but I also always see this as ascending. You are moving forward, you are reaching new heights, and as you do so, this love starts to come in. But also as you assess the situation, you are looking towards what you love, what's really important to you. And yes, you can say that we can kind of bubble things down to all having the same things kind of be important, prestige and, family and money and this and that, they're all the same thing. But the way we look at it, the way we interpret it into our lives, the way we embrace its power, that is all very different. And you're going to see here for you that you're assessing your heart, what's truly important to you, what you truly desire and what you truly love during this time. And you might even very well see yourself kind of coming to a completion of a cycle as you are looking at things. The puzzle pieces are starting to fall together, Aries, and you're starting to see things more clearly, more precisely, which moves you to the full moon in Scorpio, which says it's time to release negativity as you slowly and steadily move forward in prosperity and success. This is a time of fertility of the moon with the worm moon, okay, the richness of the soil coming in. And so here you could always think of the pentacles as the seeds that are being planted. And so here, as you release negativity, you plant in prosperity. And as you do so, you're being told to embrace self-love. As you look at your choices, as you look at the avenues that open up to you, as you start to see new outcomes and new possibilities, embrace self-love, which leads you to the full moon in Sagittarius, which says, look at the bigger picture. Look at the bigger picture. Don't stay stuck on things that have been keeping you stuck for years, decades. Look at the bigger picture of what you want, and look at the bigger picture of what you desired when you were small, before the world told you you couldn't, before you realized that you might be different than everybody else, or, things aren't always the same, or, stuff like that. People are all different, or some people have very set opinions on things. Start to see and understand your happiness, your beauty, and your truth, which leads you towards your will. Where there's a will, there is a way. And as you embrace your will, you are going to start to see that you have greater determination, greater focus, greater drive than you had anticipated. And the world starts to open up to you because you're not holding yourself back, or you're not saying, I have to live for this person's expectations or this person's approval, because now I'm moving forward in the will of what I want, in the desire of where I want to be, and how it is that I want to embrace my life. Because you move towards the full moon eclipse, which says conclusions are within reach. The prosperity, the bounty, and the beauty that you are giving birth to during this time, that is being created during this time, is within reach. It might seem very far away, but you might just be getting the edges of it, starting to see things falling into alignment and the pictures becoming clear, which leads you to working through your fears as you look at the bigger picture, which has you seeing beauty where once you might not have, where once you have seen chaos and thought, oh my goodness, how can I move forward this way? Or how can I possibly get to where it is that I want to be and have the beauty that I want within my life? You are going to see that your beauty really is your guiding force during this time. Earth sign energies, they like things to be, and with the full moon in Virgo, they like things to be stable, secure, have structure to them. And that's going to be something that's very important to you. Combined with your passion and your creativity, there is this sense here that, with the full moon in Leo, your confidence is your key to your success. And you're going to see it come at times where you just hadn't anticipated it, where you just think, oh my goodness, can I be confident about this? Am I confident about this? And then all of a sudden you're going to realize it's either I be confident about it now, or I be quiet and ashamed of myself for the rest of my life, or I hide away. And that's not what this time is about. And that's not what your life is about. It's about seizing the moments, carpe diem, seize the day. Go after each day with this beauty, because think of each day as a phoenix rising from its ashes. As you have the day go, the moon comes up, the sun goes away, the ashes can very well be the night. And then as the sun rises, as the phoenix rises, as you rise with each day, you have endless power, endless opportunities, endless beauty before you. And you're going to be seeing it, and let confidence be your guide. Like your confidence, know that your confidence in yourself is your first key to success. People see that confidence and see that genuine, drive of heart. And that can be astoundingly attractive. If it's egotistical, it can be kind of repellent. So here, embrace your confidence and do so not for anybody else, but for yourself, Aries. And this moves you to releasing the negativity and to working through fear to really embrace what you desire. Your subconscious message for this whole entire time period is the sun, beauty, happy, prosperity. There's new dawns, new days coming. This is the happiest card in the whole entire deck. And there is a beauty around you. There is a light, a joy, and a love around you. Now, your subconscious message from Luna starts with the masculine. Embracing force, okay? Just like, and I don't mean like brute force strength, you just go for it, but you know how, okay, so if you look at things like men can carry a boulder that is heavier for a shorter distance. Women, physiologically, are designed to carry a boulder that is smaller, or a rock that is smaller, or they can carry one that's larger, right? Women can carry one that's smaller for a longer distance. So it's playing towards your strengths. Here you have the masculine strength coming in. Focus, force, power, kind of being able to pick up that giant boulder. And so there's going to be something here where you're looking at things and you're able to pick up something that once seemed to be unmovable. And there is a sense of, yes, you can't carry it for a long period of time because physiologically that's not going to be your thing. But you're going to be able to carry it far enough and to the exact right spot that it needs to be for you. Because here, with the full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches its resolve. And it's going to be through that kind of brute force, I have to get this done, I have to see, the focus coming in. That is going to help you resolve that personal issue. And it's going to open your heart, your soul, and yourself to that caring prosperity that really lifts a weight off your shoulders. All right, Aries, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I love you all. Bye.